So intro to trig functions, there's a couple of things. I have here a right triangle. It's a right triangle because it has a box there, and that box is equal to 90 degrees. So if I draw a triangle like this, class, is that a right triangle? No. It's not a right triangle. It would be a right triangle if it had a box. Because there's no box, I can't apply a trig. That's a big idea. That is a big idea. If there is no right triangle, I can't use trigonometry. Okay? Alright, what's some other previous knowledge we know? Angles are on the inside. So if I had to describe in easy words, the inside corners of the polygon. If I add all of those up, they equal 180 degrees. That's called the interior sum of a triangle. Other previous knowledge that might help you, this box is equal to 90 degrees. Now that box does tell us something. If I go across this box, I have a side. That side's called the what?
Hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse? It's the longest side of the triangle. Okay? So a bad thing or low-level understanding, someone will say, if I said, where is the hypotenuse? Someone says it's the longest side of the triangle. But what happens if I draw a triangle and you can't tell? Well, you just go across from the right angle. Everyone say theta?
Theta.
Theta is where you start. Class, where do you start?
Theta.
Theta, or the given angle. So you can highlight that. Let's write that. Starting point. Start there. Okay. I'm going to put this triangle on a coordinate plane. And let's say on this coordinate plane I give you a point. Class, what does that P stand for? Point. It has the coordinates x and y. Class, this length here, or this part on the graph is called the, that is called our x. And going up, it's kind of parallel, right? Do you see that? That one's called the y. But if I do something crazy, like draw a circle around this triangle, compass is not working today. Please work. Greatly appreciate it. Then from the center to the edge of the circle is called the radius. Why is that important to us? Well, let's just say I want to know the distance from this point to this point. In a right triangle, I can use the side lengths. So previous knowledge, that's a 3. You can use the Pythagorean theorem. But the Pythagorean theorem, we normally had said a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or I'm going to write it this way. Write it like I do. I'm going to change the letters on here. You know, you're in a pre-calculus class. You're in a higher level math class, so I have to make it more complicated, right? So we're going to call this now r squared equals x squared plus y squared. Our Pythagorean theorem now, the letters have changed. Okay, in trigonometry, trig for short, there's a phrase. Let me tell you a story. It's going to be a silly story. And then you're going to draw a cartoon about this story, okay? Mr. Blackpen. It's the person I like. Nervous. Shake hands. Should I tell them? Should I tell them? Should I ask them? No, I'm not gonna do it. They're walking by. Oh no, I missed my chance. Oh, I'm so disappointed in myself. Let me kick the wall. Ow, my toe, my toe, my toe. How do I make my toe feel better? Scream. Ah! What else? Don't think about it. It doesn't hurt. It's hurting. It doesn't hurt. It hurts. My heart's hurting. I didn't tell the person. What else?
Ice it.
You ice it. Or you can Sohcahtoa. Draw a cartoon about Sohcahtoa. Do it. Draw a cartoon. Tell them what that means, Sohcahtoa. Draw a cartoon about my story. Trust me, it works. Draw a cartoon. Do it. Come on. Alright class, Sohcahtoa is a silly phrase, so if I told you what is trig, you don't say Sohcahtoa. It's an acronym that helps us. Class, what does the S stand for? C? And T. Now these have abbreviations. They are abbreviations. You said sign, but the abbreviation is S-I-N. But we don't say sin. It is a sin to say sin. Sin is on Tuesdays at Rebels for Christ, where I teach room 21. Sin is the abbreviation for the button or trig function called sine. What is sine? It is the relationship between two sides called what? Opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, there's theta, so that's where I'm starting at. Here, look. I'm starting here. This is the opposite side of my given angle. So let's write that, opposite. And across the right angle, we already know that's called the hypotenuse. The third side, which you should do last, is called the adjacent side. The adjacent side is, adjacent means next to. It's next to this given angle. So sine, pay attention now, if I used letters, is y over r. Opposite over the hypotenuse is equal to y over r. Class, what does the C stand for? Cosine. Cosine of theta is which two sides? Adjacent over the hypotenuse. And which two letters is that, class? X over r. So here in purple is old information you may have learned in your geometry class. And the pink is kind of the new information here. Class, what is the T? Tangent. Tangent is what? So think of the silly story, kick yourself in the foot when you're taking the quiz and you forget the acronym for the three basic trig functions. Tangent is opposite over the adjacent. And which two letters is that, class? Y over x. Alright. Wonderful news. We don't just stop at the three basic trig functions. We have more. Everyone say cosecant. This is the abbreviation for cosecant. It is related to sine. That's why I'm drawing it right across from it. Everyone say secant. Secant is related to cosine. And everyone say cotangent. Cotangent is related to tangent. Well, what are these? They're the reciprocal. What does reciprocal mean? You flip it. So if I flip this, what do I get? You get hypotenuse over opposite, or you get r over y. How about this one? What's secant?
Hypotenuse over adjacent.
Hypotenuse over the adjacent. And what letters? R over X. Cotangent.
Adjacent over X.
So I'm just flipping these. And what letters is that going to be? X over Y. So here I have the now 6 basic trig functions. Sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. And I have this previous knowledge that can help us construct it. If it helps you, always do a right triangle on the origin, and that will help us figure out the basic trig functions.